Selecting an insurance provider for your business is a big decision.
We know how important your company is to the community.
Alford & Associates can manage your insurance. It's our job.
Alford & Associates, benefiting your employees and protecting your business.
Good evening and welcome to this week's episode of Louisiana and Beyond.
And in this week's program, we explore the responsibilities of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers and meet its New Orleans District Commander, Houma native, Colonel Scotty Autin.
And also helping us understand the massive reach of the Corps are Gordy Dove, Angela Hidalgo, Stevie Smith, Tony Alford, Mitch Marmande, Nic Matherne, and Michael Hare.
And in our guest segment tonight, we hear from Josh Sun, former Nicholls State quarterback and Hall of Famer, and now the chief of midstream and downstream execution at GIS.
All of that and so much more coming up in this week's episode of Louisiana and Beyond.
Louisiana and Beyond is brought to you in part by Edison Schwest Offshore, Bollinger Shipyards, Crosby Tugs LLC, Grand Isle Shipyard, Nicholls State University, and Sea Level Construction.
At GIS, putting people first has always been our thing. As we always say, our people are our most important assets. With over 20 office locations, we deliver innovative solutions across 4 key markets: energy, industrial, infrastructure, and power. Our 4 main service groups house over 20 service capabilities, supporting projects from start to finish. We're proud of our legacy and even more excited about what's ahead.
When it comes to marine towing, Crosby Tugs has over 40 years of experience. We have the know-how to safely assist ships into and out of their berths, escort oil tankers quickly and safely, tow ships, respond to fuel spills, and work in extreme conditions. Founded in 1977 by Vinton and Kurt Crosby, we are one of the largest privately owned marine transportation businesses in the industry. If it's on the water, let Crosby be your transporter.
Welcome to Bollinger Shipyards. For nearly a century, our family of skilled shipbuilders has driven innovation and excellence, creating some of the world's most advanced vessels. Today, we are at the forefront of our industry and redefining the future of naval warfare. At Bollinger, we turn challenges into opportunities and careers into legacies. Here, you're part of something bigger. Any yard can build a ship. We don't just build ships. Together, we're building the future.
In a world where you can choose to be anything, who do you choose to be? At Nicholls State University, with over 70 distinct degree programs, we believe our students can be anything. Be an artist, a chef, a journalist, an educator, a lifesaver. But no matter what you choose to be a colonel. Be more at Nicholls State University.
Edison Schwest Offshore is more than a fleet. We're an interconnected network of vessels, logistics hubs, and a fast-growing workforce of over 19,000 dedicated professionals across the globe. From the United States to Brazil and the Middle East to Southeast Asia, Schwest provides cutting-edge solutions to a worldwide community. And in the face of evolving demands across the industry, we are committed to operating as the best in the world.
In this week's program, we are learning about the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers.
And during our recent interview, Colonel Scotty Autin very sincerely and directly looked right at the camera and offered these words of introduction.
So I'm Colonel Scotty Autin with the Corps of Engineers, and I will offer to you that I'm from Houma, Louisiana. I was born here. My family's been in Louisiana, South Louisiana, for about 250 years. I've lived through hurricanes. My family has lost homes and property to those types of events. And you know, we at the Corps of Engineers work very closely with your state sponsor, CPRA, and other agencies. We work with GOSEP. And we are always actively looking for opportunities to mitigate the risk of hurricane and storm surge, manage our water in a responsible way, promote economic activity, and develop those systems, procedures, and structures that will help our vibrant way of life down in here in Louisiana. Louisiana matters. It matters on a national and worldwide stage. You matter. You're part of that entire equation. And we want to develop those systems, those structures that will mitigate that risk. I trust in the local, the state, and the federal agencies that are setting those things, and the guidance and direction that they give is coordinated across all those agencies.
Very nice gentleman. Knows, you know, he already knows a lot of the coast, especially around Terrebonne and Lafourche. And you know, it takes a while for colonels to come in. Now, you know, the colonels come in for 3 years. That's something needs to be changed. The colonels ought to come in for 6-7 years, because after 3 years, they're just learning all these bayous and all this. This colonel has a step forward because he's been, you know, he lived down here before. But I think, you know, his exact words to me is, bring the projects. We're going to permit them as quick as humanly possible, as quick as our regulations allow us.
You know, to find out that I'm coming to command the New Orleans district was excitement, was shock. It's historically been reserved for, you know, the lineage of commanders before me is exceptional, and everything's complex in New Orleans, and so it is not a command that is taken lightly at all. And so to find out that you're given the honor to come command that complex environment, extremely excited. Extremely excited to, you know, that's the number one question I've been asked is, how does it feel to come home? Mm-hmm. But a large sense of commitment and responsibility. And when I think back through my family heritage in Louisiana, it goes back 250 years. And the other great people that I work with in the state, we stand on the shoulder of giants, is what I say. And so a huge commitment and responsibility to deliver. Mm-hmm. The state needs ready, capable infrastructure, and it needs it delivered in a timely fashion. And so to recognize that it is a commitment for me and the organization to work with the state to deliver that infrastructure.
You know, now that we're in a place where we're ramped up again, having a commander of the New Orleans district from Terrebonne is it's refreshing, because he's got connections here, he's got ties to Terrebonne, and I really believe him when he tells us that he's in it to win it. He's here for the long haul, and he wants to make sure that we start implementing these projects. And he came at such a pivotal moment for us, because we're on the brink of construction. We have a Reach A levee segment in Dularge that the Corps is building right now.
To come here is a combination of a lot of factors. It has a lot to do with my time experience in the Corps. I have previous assignments in the Corps of Engineers. I worked in Galveston District, I worked in Los Angeles District, and worked across, you know, Mosul Dam, Puerto Rico, across the world with the Corps of Engineers, did Hurricane Katrina response. And so I have that background and understanding of how the Corps works and about delivering projects. My education is both in engineering as well as organizational leadership. And it's a complex organization, and relationships matter. And so those two in tandem do afford an opportunity to command the district. And then the last key part of it is sometimes it's timing and luck, right? And being available at a time that the district command opens, that slot opens up, and being there. But it's really not as much to do with me. It's to the great leaders, the mentors I've had, the wonderful people in the Army that I've worked with that have set that path of frankly, success.
I do think with Colonel Autin, you've got somebody certainly that understands the landscape and understands the needs down here, and certainly has a tremendous family history here as well, right? But the system, my observation is the system that they work in requires them to work with a huge amount of divergent interests and getting all those interests to the table to concur on how we move forward is very difficult.
So they bring a colonel in, and the colonel's changed out every 2 to 3 years. They just really getting a handle and take on what's going on. And they'll all tell you this is the most complicated region in the whole country. I've always said, and I meant this, and I think, my team, Angela and Mitch and Trey and all the people that, contractors and engineering services that work with us, I've always said, if we get a hurricane that comes over here and it floods a bunch of homes, but you have no money in the bank, you've done your job. If you have money sitting in the bank or sitting someplace that you could have put on the ground and you delayed it and didn't, it's your fault.
We'll hear more from Colonel Autin and others about the Corps of Engineers later in the show.
And coming up after the break, our guest segment will feature Josh Sun for Grand Isle Shipyard. Stay with us here on Louisiana and Beyond.
Welcome to Bollinger Shipyards. For nearly a century, our family of skilled shipbuilders has driven innovation and excellence, creating some of the world's most advanced vessels. Today, we are at the forefront of our industry and redefining the future of naval warfare. At Bollinger, we turn challenges into opportunities and careers into legacies. Here, you're part of something bigger. Any yard can build a ship. We don't just build ships. Together, we're building the future.
When it comes to marine towing, Crosby Tugs has over 40 years of experience. We have the know-how to safely assist ships into and out of their berths, escort oil tankers quickly and safely, tow ships, respond to fuel spills, and work in extreme conditions. Founded in 1977 by Vinton and Kurt Crosby, we are one of the largest privately owned marine transportation businesses in the industry. If it's on the water, let Crosby be your transporter.
Edison Schwest Offshore is more than a fleet. We're an interconnected network of vessels, logistics hubs, and a fast-growing workforce of over 19,000 dedicated professionals across the globe. From the United States to Brazil and the Middle East to Southeast Asia, Schwest provides cutting-edge solutions to a worldwide community. And in the face of evolving demands across the industry, we are committed to operating as the best in the world.
Sea Level Construction is a heavy civil contractor that provides turnkey services for the industrial and marine industries. From building large-scale infrastructure to installing the foundation for expansion projects, Sea Level and its family of companies offer a wide range of capabilities including driven piles, drill deep foundations, structural fabrication, structural concrete, marine construction, barge maintenance and repair, site work development, heavy equipment repair services, and electrical services. Call Sea Level Construction to set the foundations for your next big project.
At GIS, putting people first has always been our thing. As we always say, our people are our most important assets. With over 20 office locations, we deliver innovative solutions across 4 key markets: energy, industrial, infrastructure, and power. Our 4 main service groups house over 20 service capabilities, supporting projects from start to finish. We're proud of our legacy and even more excited about what's ahead.
In tonight's guest segment, we hear from Josh Sun, the Chief of Midstream and Downstream Execution at GIS.
And Josh begins by explaining the difference between the 3 primary sectors of the oil and gas industry.
So just at a high level, upstream is where the product's being extracted, right? So when you talk about the big offshore facilities, the deep water facilities, the Shells, the Chevrons, the BPs, the Taluses, the Murphys, those clients, right? Well, both offshore and onshore. When you're extracting the product, that's upstream. We label that as our upstream mechanical group, right? So as the product starts moving through the line, that's the midstream group. That's the Shell pipelines, the Chevron pipelines. That's our midstream execution group. And as it moves through the line, where you're doing certain maintenance on pipelines and facilities, the interconnecting facilities that move through those pipelines, then you move into the downstream mechanical side. Downstream is everything that we view as petrochemical refining facilities, right? In that golden triangle that I talked a little bit about earlier. And then South Louisiana, that's your ExxonMobil facilities, that's your CF places, Ineos, Air Liquide, Air Products, those folks, right? So you got upstream where it's extracted from. The midstream group is all the service in between, and then downstream is where the final product's refined. I support our midstream and downstream mechanical group, right? So internally and externally, I'm supporting those folks every day, all day. Not maybe fully understanding exactly all the little mechanics that go into everything they're doing every day. I'm able to listen, sit around the table with them, talk about the projects that they have going on, and support them from an internal side through our shared services group, all the way to our clients and externally, and helping them navigate the contracts and the scopes of work and everything in between. And we just celebrated our 75th a few years ago. If you want that to truly last for my kids, my grandkids, their grandkids, right? You have to build something that's sustainable. Right, and as we've watched kind of offshore upstream work, which we refer to upstream mechanical as our offshore legacy work, and they've done it well for so many years. Being able to leverage some of those clients and walk us into other industries such as power, such as infrastructure, with Dustin and O'Neill look after, to the downstream and midstream mechanical stuff, those industries. Being able to leverage those clients and those relationships to be able to have those opportunities in the other industries, it's huge for us, right? And there's just so much opportunity out there. You're not trying to step out and be something you're not at the end of the day, but also understand what you do really well and go focus and do what you do well in every industry you can. Because we know, as we've seen, living in South Louisiana, you've seen the price of oil. You've in your time, you have ridden the roller coaster quite a bit, right? The price up, price down. But if you're busy in all those industries, the power, the infrastructure, the industrial, the energy, then no matter what that price of oil is, you can always kind of have a good, stable backlog to what you're doing. Be able to support your people to get through to that next phase or that next part of that roller coaster ride. So when we talk about our industry and our trade schools and things that are going on around this area, in telling a young man, that's coming out of high school, that it's okay to go to a vocational school because, Mr. Gary Schwess and Dino and Mark Sr., some of those guys. I mean, Mark Sr. often joked he didn't even finish high school. But to be able to do what he did to lay a foundation for this company, to stand on that strong foundation of how we operate and how we make things, we manifest things into happening for us today. I don't know any other way to explain it, and so I get into the conversations on a personal side, often invited to go back and talk at my high school or my college, and I'll let all those young men and women know, it's okay. You don't have to have this high level college education, this master of business just to be able to succeed and truly earn a good, honorable living, in this area. We live in such a blessed area to be able to still use your hands and use your craft and use your creativity to make a living, and it's awesome to watch.
Josh had a Hall of Fame football career as a quarterback at Nicholls State.
And he explains the lessons he learned on the field and how they apply now to business.
When you're involved in a collegiate team or just any team, right? As growing up through youth sports to high school sports to college sports, teams in general, they parallel themselves to companies, right? Well-ran organizations, right? Having a good head coach to a good quarterback to awesome leadership to what goes on in the huddle every day, right? Drawing up a good game plan for what you want to do, what you want to accomplish, setting goals. So all that stuff was a good foundation for exactly what I'm doing today, right? Working for our president and CEO, Mark Prejean. He's kind of put me in a leadership role to be able to lead a team, build a team, manage those folks and structure a good foundation around what we're trying to do every day. And when I sometimes I may feel that that you don't have all the technical experience in everything that we're doing. Just understanding that when you're managing people, when you're leading people, being a good true leader of people will usually get you where you need to be, right? I mean, that's just some good, strong values. Again, continue to build on that foundation of what we want to do, what we want to accomplish. And I think a background in sports helps in that so much. I knew two things coming out of high school, right? One main thing. I knew the background I came from, and I knew my parents weren't as financially, well off as most. And I knew I had to find a way to pay for college, right? So to your point, my mindset is I need to get on this football field. I need to get up and go to class. I need to show up every day. I need to care. And I need to make sure that I don't lose this scholarship. And how that has evolved into what I'm currently doing today, and still taking that same mindset. Because at the end of the day, life in business, when it's broken down, is truly simple.
We thank Josh, what a nice guy, and Grand Isle Shipyard for their support of our program.
And after the break, we'll hear more about the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers and Colonel Scotty Autin. We'll be right back.
At GIS, putting people first has always been our thing. As we always say, our people are our most important assets. With over 20 office locations, we deliver innovative solutions across 4 key markets: energy, industrial, infrastructure, and power. Our 4 main service groups house over 20 service capabilities, supporting projects from start to finish. We're proud of our legacy and even more excited about what's ahead.
Welcome to Bollinger Shipyards. For nearly a century, our family of skilled shipbuilders has driven innovation and excellence, creating some of the world's most advanced vessels. Today, we are at the forefront of our industry and redefining the future of naval warfare. At Bollinger, we turn challenges into opportunities and careers into legacies. Here, you're part of something bigger. Any yard can build a ship. We don't just build ships. Together, we're building the future.
When it comes to marine towing, Crosby Tugs has over 40 years of experience. We have the know-how to safely assist ships into and out of their berths, escort oil tankers quickly and safely, tow ships, respond to fuel spills, and work in extreme conditions. Founded in 1977 by Vinton and Kurt Crosby, we are one of the largest privately owned marine transportation businesses in the industry. If it's on the water, let Crosby be your transporter.
Sea Level Construction is a heavy civil contractor that provides turnkey services for the industrial and marine industries. From building large-scale infrastructure to installing the foundation for expansion projects, Sea Level and its family of companies offer a wide range of capabilities including driven piles, drill deep foundations, structural fabrication, structural concrete, marine construction, barge maintenance and repair, site work development, heavy equipment repair services, and electrical services. Call Sea Level Construction to set the foundations for your next big project.
Edison Schwest Offshore is more than a fleet. We're an interconnected network of vessels, logistics hubs, and a fast-growing workforce of over 19,000 dedicated professionals across the globe. From the United States to Brazil and the Middle East to Southeast Asia, Schwest provides cutting-edge solutions to a worldwide community. And in the face of evolving demands across the industry, we are committed to operating as the best in the world.
In this week's program, we are learning more about the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers and its New Orleans commander, Colonel Scotty Autin.
And as you can imagine, Colonel Autin gets direction and advice from many. But what advice does he give himself?
I would say the immediate one is don't screw this up. And so it's the lineage, it's that voice in my head that all of that great lineage that I talked through, as well as the excellent people that live here. To drive by my childhood home this morning and to see the areas where I went to school and where I lived and where I grew up, and know that this is part of a national worldwide economic engine, but people, it needs to be protected. It needs protection, it needs access, it needs the ability to take root and grow. And so that, the weight of that is in my mind, not to slow me down, but to speed me up and to get it right and to synchronize priorities and to synchronize resources and to always cultivate our relationships with the state and with the local levy districts and all the people that are just as passionate about it.
I mean, my main job is that coordination with the Corps. So, I mean, that federal part is a big part of my day. But what I can tell you from the interactions I've had with him and the things that we have talked about so far is he is really in love with Terrebonne Parish. So that can only be a benefit to us as we go forward. And it's real. And I'm not saying that other colonels didn't have an admiration and respect for this area, but he's from here. But you can see it in every meeting how much he actually cares for this place. I mean, he loves Houma and he loves Terrebonne.
It's not tongue in cheek. I really do value and appreciate the relationships and those words. They are that important. And I think I take it as a call to action. What did being a local really, I think, give me? I mean, aside from knowing what a parish is and pronouncing a chafalaya, it's the idea that I really do appreciate and understand the plight of people in South Louisiana. I live it. I have family here. My decisions are not some decision to be made that I walk away from. I have immediate family members that will be the recipient of my decisions. And so I don't take that lightly. I also understand that time is not on our side. Mother Nature doesn't care about your schedule. Mother Nature doesn't care about, your funding cycle or what relationships you built. And so I can't waste time. And it's really about, I take those comments as my willingness to work with them to get to yes. And so there shouldn't be a no, it's a yes if. And sometimes that yes if is a local synchronization. Sometimes that yes if is a policy procedure change. And sometimes that yes if is looking at them going, if the law changes. But it should never mean a no. And it's an idea that we will work together to solve some level of this complex problem. Because at the end of the day, what do we should be doing? We as leaders in this community, we solve problems and we take care of people.
What's really important about the opportunity we have here with Colonel Scotty Autin, a Terrebonne Parish native, is that he needs no education. He needs no convincing. His family is still here. He grew up here. He understands the importance of South Louisiana and our working coast to the entire nation. And because of his position, not in the local government, not even in the state government, but with the federal government, the importance of his position and his influence to understand our challenges and our importance to the nation and how to leap over some of these hurdles we've been tripping over for decades is invaluable.
So the Assistant Secretary of the Army for Civil Works, right? And so that is the overall our political appointee that's in charge of the Corps, and particularly our Civil Works program, which is our mainstay mission set of navigation, flood risk management, and ecosystem restoration. Mr. Tell's unleashed a new strategy, and it's really to revamp our Civil Works program. And it's under this umbrella and this idea of building infrastructure, not paperwork. And it gets exactly after what I think South Louisiana understands. We got to identify those projects and those instances that are of national importance, and we prioritize them. And we put our energy and effort, of course, accomplishing that.
First, let's start with the agencies. Between CPRA to the Corps of Engineers, there's no more important federal agency than the Corps. We are the non-federal sponsor with them on the majority of the work that they implement across the Gulf Coast in Louisiana. So we are tied at the hip legally in that way. But from a personnel standpoint, I could not be more excited to continue to work with Colonel Autin. He took his position, I think, within about 2 weeks of me getting mine. I've said to people, sort of, he's my ride or die. So we've got the next 3 years together. Being from Houma, having that family connection, and the fact that he traces his roots to this area before Louisiana was Louisiana, just shows that he doesn't have a learning curve to get over of understanding the people, the culture, the challenges, the frustrations they may have had with his own agency. He gets it. He's got family here. And I think that personal connection that he has really accelerated his effectiveness relative to other colonels who I'm sure came to this district wanting to do the right thing, wanting to work hard. He got to hit the ground running way before the rest of them did. And so we talk often. I consider him to be a very good friend and a really, really critical partner for us to be able to execute our mission.
And we will hear more from and about the Corps of Engineers and Colonel Autin in future episodes.
And we thank you so much for joining us and hope to share more about our state's coastal activities in next week's episode of Louisiana and Beyond.
Louisiana and Beyond has been brought to you in part by Edison Schwest Offshore, Bollinger Shipyards, Crosby Tugs LLC, Grand Isle Shipyard, Nicholls State University, and Sea Level Construction.